everybody, and welcome to the Curly Girl Book Tour. I am Casey Ferrand McGee, the author of Curly Girl, My Curls Are Mine to Love. I hope you guys are enjoying these conversations. This is our third week. I can't believe we're almost wrapping this up. We've been having these conversations 3 times a week for the past 3 weeks. So this is our second to last one. And I hope you guys have really just been enjoying this experience as much as I have and talking to some amazing women. And tonight is no different. We have a guest that I want to introduce, and I have to show you some of her work because her work really just speaks for itself. But tonight's guest is hairstylist MeMe Kelly. She is a licensed cosmetologist with a specialty in kids' hair. Now, her many years behind the chair, continuing education, and industry experience have really prepared her to deal with many hair textures and specific hair issues that many women do face throughout their life. So she is highly skilled in servicing those with natural hair textures and has put some smiles on countless clients' faces. And I really want to dive into that tonight. So the overall health of hair is really her priority. So let me bring in our guest, Miss MeMe Kelly. How are you, dear?
Hey, I am good.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
She's joining us from home in New Orleans, and she has a salon in New Orleans. You've had like 3 iterations of your salon, right?
Yes, I have. When I first started the brand, we had a first location was in Esplanade Mall for 2 years, and then I moved to New Orleans East right after that, and then I had a private suite in Gentilly as well.
So now you're where again?
I am in New Orleans East on The Wire.
Okay, perfect. So if anybody's in New Orleans and is looking for a kid's hairstylist, she's your go-to. I've seen some of your work, and we showed a couple of pictures, and you see the transformation that some of your clients have gone through. What is kind of your biggest joy out of the work you get to do?
The fact that I'm able to put smiles on their faces. So they are coming in one way and then they're leaving out another way. And you can really see the true transition of their attitudes once they get out of the chair.
Yeah. And is there like an age range that you specifically deal with, or is it kind of like across the gamut?
We do ages 2 through 17. Okay. So we kind of just deal with all the kids within their age range. From 2 to 5, we kind of deal more with natural styles. So we don't do any type of heat applications. So we're more or less just like comb their hair, do treatments, trims if needed. And then from 5 on, that's when we do our silk press and heat processing. No chemical services. We don't deal with the chemical.
So did you ever do chemical services, and when did you maybe branch away from it?
So when I first started off in the industry, I've been licensed for now almost 9 years. So in 2013 is when I actually got my license. So from there, I was doing everyone. I was doing adults. I was doing a lot of cuts, colors. I wasn't doing weaves. Well, I was doing weaves. I wasn't doing like braids and dreads and short hair. That wasn't my thing. But I was still servicing adults and kids, doing healthy hair care regimens, natural hair, braidless sewings, regular sewings, things of that nature. But when I really seen a shift was when I was talking a lot with my adult clients that had kids. So with that point, I was like, okay, they always was wanting me to service their children's hair, but they always was asking questions before actually asking for the services. So more or less what products to use, how to take care of their hair at home. Their hair may be damaged from braided styles. So with that, I was like, well, this seems like this is a need and they need me. So I was like, well, let me transition into really being able to do kids. And while in beauty school, I was doing a lot of kids as well. So it kind of like gravitated to me. And I just decided to really shift the brand over to just dealing with kids because they don't have any stylists that really specialize in kids hair. I mean, people are diverse and they do a lot of different things, but to really say that they really specialize in kids hair, they don't have that.
Have you seen that that's been kind of the key to growing your business, having that specialized care for something in particular?
Yeah, I always say it's riches in the niches. So when you are able to kind of focus on one thing that people can know you for, then when you're going about your marketing, you're promoting, you can really dominate that industry.
And I know we met 2000, maybe 18 or so.
Yeah, probably
I have all this
earlier than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
18 or so?
It had to be like 15, 16, because you came and did a story when you was with Talk That Nola at Essence event.
Yes, and you did a pop-up at one of the hotels downtown.
Yes, at the Hilton Garden.
Yes, so that's when I first became aware of you and your products. And you, let's talk about that too, because you built your hairstyle business, but you also have a product line that you developed.
Yes. So with the products, I knew that there wasn't a lot of kids brands on the market. People was doing a regular like TCB just for me and stuff like that, but it really wasn't meeting the needs of what the parents was looking for the hair, which the main need was adding moisture and detangling hair. That was like the main things. So I was like, well, let me create something. Now, I first started off with an adult product line because again, most of my clientele base was adults, but it was a flop. And I was like, I'll just move on to doing something else. And I shouldn't say it was a flop, but it was a learning experience because I didn't really understand products, launching, marketing, and things of that nature at the time. So it just wasn't my time to deal with that. But once I niched down to just kids' hair, then I wanted to go with kids' products to satisfy that need as well. So I rebranded. And then in 2017, that's when I actually launched Silk Me Kids hair care products.
Awesome. What's special about your products? Because I remember like growing up, it was like the pink lusters moisturizer. That was the
moisturizer was the main thing.
The spritz, and you know, when you have the hard style. So what's the specialty, the special ingredients, or what do you add to your products to really pack in the moisture and make them effective?
I add a lot of keratin in the hair to strengthen it. We have some of it has coconut oil in it. We have biotin, and we have pro vitamins in it. So all of that helps with strengthening the hair and adding moisture along with detangling it.
Okay, so for people at home who maybe don't have your products on hand, what are some things that they can do at home to help also do added moisture and strengthen their hair?
Well, the main thing is how often you're actually shampooing the hair and then removing the product buildup. So a lot of people feel like using grease, that's their main thing, grease the scalp, grease the hair, that is actually adding moisture to the hair, but it's not. It's actually coating the hair because it's petroleum jelly, so it's very, very thick. And the molecules in our hair is really, really small. So it's not penetrating, it's just laying on top of the hair. So whenever you're putting grease in and then you kind of rub your hand across your hair, your hand is really, really greasy because the petroleum jelly, which is the grease, is just sitting on top. So the main thing is actually clarifying. They call it a clarifying shampoo, which removes whatever product off the hair. And then you come back with a moisturizing shampoo and then your conditioner. And then from there, of course, you come with your styling aids, which would be a moisturizer or a leave-in conditioner and detangler.
Awesome. And, you know, I really wanted to have you on this conversation because, yeah, somebody just dropped a comment, said drop the knowledge. Yes, that's exactly why I wanted to have you here, because we need this knowledge. And I know, you know, we talk about curly girls in the sense of natural hair being curly in its natural state, but you work with clients who don't necessarily sometimes want their curls. They want to be natural, but still be able to have their silk presses and things like that. So let's talk about that, because there are naturals out there who aren't necessarily trying to maintain the curl texture, but they want to keep their natural hair protected. How do you go ahead.
So that's me. I'm that type of girl. I'm a curly girl, but I don't like to wear my hair curly. I like to wear it straight, but I also do get color. So because I get color, I want to still make sure my hair is healthy, and I don't want to mix different chemicals, whether if it's relaxers, texturizers, and then color on top of that. So for people that loves that, I still have a process that I use at the salon where I'm able to still protect the curl pattern while they're able to wear their hair straight. Now, at any given time, they can always go back straight, but I do have products that I use to help keep the hair straight as well as protect the curl patterns underneath there, and it won't damage the hair.
So the one time, probably maybe maybe 3 years ago, I had gotten a silk press and it stripped my curl pattern, and I ended up going back to my short cropped hair and starting over. Is there a technique that stylists need to learn to help eliminate that? Because some people want to maintain their curl texture and go back and forth. So how can we like really hone in on that to make sure that the curls are protected, the integrity of them?
Well, the first thing is the products that you're using. It has to be something that's going to soften the hair, but not be as heavy. Then it comes back with the tools that you're using. So the blow dryer and the flat iron that you're using. So I use a blow dryer with a comb attachment, which helps comb through and separates the hair, but it doesn't give so much heat that it burns the hair. And then when I come back with the flat iron, I just do one pass. So what stylists always do, because they deal with natural hair, they feel like they have to pass the flat iron 3, 4, and 5 times, but that's because their beginning process wasn't done correctly. So when you are doing that many passes, something in between that you didn't do right, you didn't deep condition, you may not have pre-dried them, you probably didn't use a protectant while they was under the dryer. So it's a lot of different factors that people tend to not educate themselves on because they think they're skilled with it, which people have some beautiful silk press, but it's about if they wet their hair, can it really go back curly?
Exactly. So look, I wanted to bring this back in because you posted this video to your, and these are some of the styles again that you have done. And this is a younger girl who got obviously just the braids and the puffs. And this is an older girl who got the silk press, and you can see, it is sleek.
Yes.
And I wanted to go to this next one because this is a client who obviously came in with some breaking in her hair. Talk about this, because this is obviously an older a woman who wanted to keep her length, it looks like. Yes. She's holding on to it. And, kind of talk about what you had to go through to kind of get her from there to this.
Well, I had to coach her through the process because people love to keep length, but I call it invisible length because if it's length that's not there, if it's not healthy, if it's not blending, it's something that you don't need to have. And I'm all about healthy hair care. So I refuse people's services and I discontinue services if they don't let me cut their hair, because it's all about the best interest of what you're trying to do with your journey. And healthy hair care is priority. So it took me to have to convince her that she needed to have it cut and then put her on a healthy hair care regimen so she was able to come back and get her hair treated so it can start growing out. But you can tell it's like a total difference from when she first came, even with the shine and even the color of the hair. Like I didn't even color it or anything. It just was the products that I was using to add the shine, to add the luster back in the hair that was lacking, and that's what it needed.
It looks alive again. It came back to life. Talk about, some of the girls who sit in your chair. You talked about, being able to bring smiles to their faces. What's it like? How often do girls really sit in your chair feeling just frustrated and unhappy with their natural hair?
Honestly, the kids that come, they want to be there. They want to be able to feel beautiful. Now, I do deal with kids that go to different schools with different ethnicities, and they feel as though because their hair doesn't hang long like their other counterparts that they're not pretty. And I always have to tell them, you have to embrace your natural curls. They're trying to be like you, but the only difference is you're able to be versatile. So that's what makes you special. So I always call them little baby unicorns because they're able to transform to anything that they can without having to damage their hair, without having to change themselves. So I always encourage them. I make sure that the salon is decorated really pretty to put them in their own element. I do different themes every month so they can just stay engaged. And then when they get in the chair, they feel in one way, probably don't want to get their hair done. Their hair is matted together. They're tender-headed. I deal with all of that. But then once it's over, they're just like all in the mirror, taking selfies, doing TikToks and all kind of stuff around the shop.
Oh yeah, they be swinging that hair. I've seen them.
Yes. Oh yes.
And that's like a newfound joy and excitement they have in their own beauty after seeing what their natural hair can do.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever been? What are some of your favorites? Is there one client that you think of, like from beginning to end, where she came from, and that just really sticks out in your mind?
I have one that I've been dealing with since she was like 4. And she's like 10 now. So it's just the journey of her, just watching her grow up. Like the thing is, I just enjoy watching the kids grow up. Like one of my kids, I just seen on Facebook that she's driving. I'm like, driving? I was doing that hair. She was like 7. She's 16 now. Like, it's just, that's the type of joy that I get when I actually can watch them grow up and then also see their hair journeys from when their hair was probably all the way to the bottom of their butts.
Yeah, and that's one thing you talk about too, is it's a journey, it's a process, and trust your process.
Yes, you have to. Everybody wants things to happen so fast. And when I get first time customers, they're like, I want it to be treated, I want it to be healthy, but I have to let them know that this is not a one visit process. Like, you have to come consistently because you can't get the results you're looking for for one time. You can't.
And I like too that you've made it manageable where parents can, budget to make sure that their daughter can come on a regular basis. Talk about
Yeah.
that. That's kind of your business model that you've created.
So what I do is I offer either memberships or hair care plans. So I know people look for the consistency, so I make sure they're consistent. So I have one of my hair care plans, which is the popular one, is the MeMe signature hair care plan, is 4 visits for $300. So with that, they're able to come every 2 weeks and they can get their hair shampooed. They get whatever hair treatment that's needed for them, a deep conditioning, and they can get the blowout press style and a trim, or they could get a natural style. So I tell people they don't always have to get their hair press. We can go, toggle between each one, but it's at their discretion to be able to do that. And if I have to break the payments down into 2 payments to make it feasible, then I can. But if not, it's just all full payment. But it's still a great deal in the long run, when the average price could be like $100, $125 for treatments, when you're paying $300 for 4.
It's a great business model, and it really helps to keep that consistency, as you were saying, because like once you've paid for it, you're like, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to not go anymore.
Yeah, and I'm on top of them, like, you should weed, or your plan about to expire. You want to get in here, so I kind of stay on it because I let the parents know this is a team effort. I'm the stylist, I take care of it here, but you're with them majority of the time, so we have to be on the same page, and then get the kids on the same page, because parents are giving kids more freedom to deal and play in their hair. So I make sure, because when they come to the shop, I'm their bonus auntie. So what I tell them is, you gotta stop playing in your hair. You do these different things because they're into it, So I tell them all the time, this is what you need to do. You're old enough to be able to take care of your hair. Your mom shouldn't be telling you to keep a bonnet on your head and stuff like that. So I kind of reinforce what the parents already tell them anyway, because I'm always still team parent, but I still make the kids feel comfortable enough to be able to talk to me to give them the results that they need.
What can you tell a parent who is struggling to take care of a daughter's hair, and are maybe considering going to a relaxer or trying to find something that's more, I guess, easy to manage? As it's a mindset thing, I think.
Yes, it is, because people feel like going to a relaxer makes it easier, and it doesn't. It's still the same amount of work, still the same amount of effort. You're just not being a product junkie. So when you're natural, you're a product junkie because you're trying to figure out what's going to work for you, what's going to add moisture. This shampoo work better with this conditioner and all kind of stuff. But when you're relaxed, you don't have to do all of those things, but you still have to be consistent with getting your hair treated, trimmed, and stuff like that. So you still have to take care of it, whether you get a relaxer or not. I don't recommend a relaxer because if you're not going to take care of it, then you're going to risk the chance of the hair breaking off from the chemicals.
And when you talk about, consistency and like the amount of times you're going to the salon to keep up a relaxer versus natural, I tell people I don't go to the salon as much as I used to. When I started transitioning to natural, I stopped going because I learned from people like you how to take care of my hair. So having that professional help in the beginning to make the transition is usually a better way to start the process than just kind of going cold turkey, like, oh, I'm going to stop this relaxer, and then, that's when, things, like you said, get matted. I would assume like things like that happen.
Yeah, because when you go to a relaxer, when you're doing a switch either way, you're dealing with 2 different hair textures. So at any given time, if you're not taking care of it, it's going to mat together. They call it a line of demarcation. So where the actual relaxer and the natural hair meets, that's what usually breaks off. So if you don't keep up it being healthy, doing protein treatments to strengthen the hair up, then you're always going to have some type of damage going on. When it comes down to naturals that stop going to the salon because they are natural, I always still recommend them coming every 2 months because you still need to get your ends trimmed. So at least make a salon visit every 2 months so you can still keep the health of your hair going, because again, it's still growing while it's curly. Some people may not see the growth because of their pattern and their texture, but the hair is still growing and it still needs to be, trimmed.
And I did want to let all our guests know who are tuning in that we are open to asking any questions you may have on your mind that you need me to answer. If you're having any problems at home with any particular style or texture, and you want some advice on that, go ahead, chime in the comments, and we'll get MeMe to answer those questions for us live here. So again, just for parents, where can they start the process at home, and trying to manage hair that they may deem difficult?
So the first thing is getting Silk Me Care hair products. So I always say get the products first because you can actually use them at home. I give techniques because the first thing before even shampooing the hair, you need to detangle the hair. And that's the main process that a lot of parents deal with the kids, especially if they're tender-headed. So I always would say detangle first. Without detangler, the best is one of the top sellers on our line. Is the best product. Use a detangler, then you go with this shampoo, and you shampoo twice. And then you do your conditioning. You can deep condition as well, which I also have a deep conditioning cap that you don't necessarily have to sit under a dryer at home. You can put the cap in a microwave for 1 minute and 10 seconds, and you put it on your head, and you can deep condition up to 45 minutes. And then from there, you rinse out, and then you can use your styling aids, which is also the detangler, which is a leave-in, and then your moisturizer. So, that's the process that you can use. And then, actually comb the hair, comb it like how I did the baby's hair with the balls and stuff. Like those are the styles that I do for parents when they bring their kids and they don't want any type of heat. I comb the hair for them. Just to alleviate. But some parents are skilled enough to be able to do that style. So you do that style, you leave it in for a week, and then you take the hair out, shampoo it, and do it all over again. But I just recommend not leaving styles in for so long because it will tend to mat the hair up. You won't be able to condition. You risk damaging the hair because it's in styles too long.
Okay. And we do have a question in the comments from Orion Phillips. Hey, Orion, when you are natural, do you still recommend trimming every 6 weeks? And if so, should the hair be straightened, or is blow drying okay?
So yes, you still should do every 6 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks is the limit. And then I recommend having it blow dried. So blow drying is easier because you're able to actually see what needs to be cut. If it's pressed, then that's even better. That's the best way because you really can see what needs to be cut, but at least blow dried so you're able to do the different angle cuttings and cutting the inside if you have to. So blow dry is sufficient, but straightening is the best.
Okay, because I went and got a cut last week, and I tell people to really check with the stylist to see what their techniques are, because the stylist I went to, we did a wash and we didn't blow dry. I think she did it wet. And, just kind of do it. Yeah, you just kind of get a guide point from the bottom and work your way through.
And that's another technique. A lot of people, they call it the diva cut, where you can just cut curly and you cut individual strands. But I only recommend that for people that really don't get their hair straightened, because again, if you cut like that, whenever you get your hair straightened, then it's going to be multiple lengths. So I always tell people, if you're going to always really, really be curly, then yeah, cut your hair curly. But if you're going to eventually get it straight, I just recommend blow drying it out.
Okay, cool. Got a couple more questions. I'm loving this. Thank y'all for chiming in, because I know this is the perfect person to answer. We know we have different curl patterns in the front, side, and back. How do we make sure we have the right products to treat the need of all curl patterns? Good question.
Okay, so it's about the pattern. It's not about the pattern. It's more about the texture. So the patterns is kinky, curly, wavy, and straight. Okay, so and then your actual types can be fine, medium, or coarse. So it really all depends on where you're aligned at with the density of the hair as well. So that product can work for whatever textures that you have. It just depends on the amounts of product that you use on those textures. Now I know the front is always more loose because especially if you pull your hair back in ponytails a lot, so it's always going to be more loose. The inside, right in the apex area, is always going to be the thickest, always. I don't know why, but it's always the thickest. And then of course in the back as well, anytime you're actually pulling hair up, it does that as well. But it's really just all about the porosity of your hair, how well your hair is able to lock in moisture.
That's what porosity is, the moisture absorption of the hair. Okay.
Yes.
Because we hear those terms, those keywords all the time, but sometimes we don't know what that means. But yeah, that's good. And you mentioned the crown usually can be a little thicker.
Yeah.
So do you think that's too from the sun hitting that top, like if we're wearing our hair, does that have any no?
It's not as manipulated as the rest of the hair. So you always brushing really hard, pulling your hair back, pulling your hair up, but people isn't always brushing the middle. So you're not manipulating the hair as much as you are the fronts and the sides.
Good. So Kathy, thanks for that question. She says the amount. That's good to know. Thanks. And we have another question here. Is twisting the hair after washing considered protective?
Yes, it is a protective style. So usually when I do my natural styles for my kids, I shampoo, deep condition, and then from wet, I do double strand twists or individual twists, or I comb their hair from wet. But I always make sure to add moisturizer and leave-in conditioner. So once it dry, it locks in the product.
One thing too, I wanted to point out too, the brushing the hair when it's wet. Can that be a way of damaging some of the...
It can if you're using a boar bristle brush. So those are the bristles that's really, really, really hard. You don't want to use that. You want to use more of a detangling comb. So once you use a detangling comb, then you can come back with a medium grade brush to actually brush it into styles. But I always say detangle first. Don't use a paddle brush. Don't use a demi brush. Use an actual wide tooth detangling comb.
I wish I had all my stuff just lined up here so we could like display it. This is what you use. This is what you use for this. This is the stuff we need to learn. We only have about 5 minutes left, and I wanted to, if anyone else has a question, please go ahead and chime in. But I did want to leave some time to, you had a chance to read the book, Curly Girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bailey. What do you think of Bailey and her story?
Bailey is so sweet. Bailey is so sweet, but it's really all about confidence building and living in your truth when it's dealing with your natural hair. So I'm all for it because, again, that's something that I push a lot with my kids, my little nieces that I call at the salon, to be able to just love on your hair. So I enjoyed it. I love it. We're gonna make sure they have more books in the salon. I'm trying to get. You need a digital version because they're always on the iPad.
Thanks for asking because I actually did put the option to get an ebook, virtual, digital, so you can download it.
Because they're always on the iPads and stuff, so I can easily put it on the iPad, give it to them while they're under the dryer.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to do that. You can get the free code and everything. Whatever, you got that. We have one more question. I want to know what to do for hair breakage at the crown. That's from Samantha.
Okay, so we have to determine what's actually making it break. Is it kid? Is it a baby? Like, are they sitting in a car seat?
She's asking for herself.
Okay, well, if it's for herself,
a woman. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if one way that the hair is breaking is because if you have your headrest, if you're driving in a car and you always leaning your head back on the headrest, it breaks right there because of the actual material that's on the seats. So if you don't have like a satin or a silk covering over your headrest, it's going to break the hair because you're naturally rubbing. You're rubbing on something that's like more or less cotton. So it's drying the hair and then it's going to break it. So I always say you do a protein treatment to help strengthen the hair back up. And then you actually come back with a moisture treatment to soften it up and add the moisture. But I would say always make sure to have some type of satin or silk covering over your headrest. In the same way as far as sleeping with pillows, with satin covers and stuff like that. I say the same thing about the kids. Line the back of their car seat with the satin pillow as well, because they do get this part of the hair that always balls. So that's because they're constantly moving their head and stuff on the headrest.
Thank you for answering those questions. We just always like, why is this happening?
Yep.
I know you
also another one is ponytails. So if people are wearing a lot of ponytails that's pulled up, that can break the hair as well. So you want to make sure you're using not rubber bands, but they have ponytail holders, and that you're actually taking your ponytails down and not leaving them up.
Yep. I have a couple of those satin covered ponytail holders. And I'll show this. I like to use this. This is a clip. What is it called?
It's a hair clip.
But you remember those banana clips when we were young?
It's a banana clip. It's a smaller banana clip. It's round though. Yeah.
They call it a puff cuff. That's like a brand of them. The puff cuff is one of them. But I really got this from Sally's for like $3. So That's a great way to not put too much pull. And
Yes.
then you don't like, I've had to rip rubber bands out of my hair before. So,
and that's what breaks it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I know we're going to wrap things up because I know you wanted to actually give away a product.
Yeah, so what I did for the summer, because I always survey my clients and try to get their needs met. So one of the main thing was that a lot of kids were going swimming this summer. So I decided to come out with a swim spray to actually protect the hair from chlorine while they're swimming. So I have a swim spray that you spray on the hair, on the braids, whatever style that you have before the kids go swimming, and it helps coat the hair from the chlorine. And then when they come back, you rinse the hair off and then you spray it on there again. So I have a whole swim bundle, which comes with the actual peppermint shampoo and conditioner and the swim spray that I'm raffling off.
Okay, so to get that product, you have to answer a trivia question, which is, if you've been tuning in, MeMe has a question for you.
Where was my first location located for Silk Me Kids?
Her first salon. Where was her first salon located? Let's see. No one's answered yet. She is in New Orleans. So, where was the first salon located? Also, we're going to give away another copy of Curly Girl book. I know a lot of you on here have already gotten your copies, and I'm so excited. I want to show a couple of our girls who. So
that's a jammer.
I know, right? I need a question. Oh, someone asked, can adults use these products?
Yes. So that was one thing that I wanted to make sure that I had a product line that adults can use too. And I fuss at my parents because they buy them for the kids and then they use them. And then they all gone for the kids. So yeah, it works.
Yes. Okay, Chandra, so you can get you some, what do you call it? The spray for the
detangler? Yeah. The Curly Cutie detangler.
That's a popular one. Okay. Someone said New Orleans East.
Nope.
I know. I think I remember. And I know, Orion, if you want to answer, go ahead. Because Orion's on here and she's like, I won't answer. But if you want to, go for it. Yeah, I know the answer too. Okay, another question. What is the name of MeMe's product line? I took it off the screen so they wouldn't know. I'm trying to be slick so they wouldn't see it when I asked. Okay. Anybody know an answer to either of those questions?
She said she ain't gonna answer. She's the brand manager. Yeah, she can't answer. She can't play.
Okay. Thanks for playing, Orion. All right.
Chandra got it.
Where did she? Chandra she gets the book. Chandra gets the book.
Yep.
Chandra, go ahead and send me a message with your mailing address so we can get that out to you ASAP. Go ahead and send me a message.
I'm gonna ask one more question and see if they remember. What year did Silk Me Kids launch? I said it in the interview.
My mom wants the answer. She's coming in from the other side of the room. She's like, I know the answer for the first
Come on, Mom.
Well, since we went on to the next one, she said it's Esplanade Mall.
Yes, it is.
My mama watches religiously. She's here every night of the tour.
Well, Mom gets the swim bundle.
She wants it.
Okay.
She will use it. She loves, like, she's one of my, she just started transitioning back to her natural a few years ago. And she's been enjoying, like, product shopping.
Products. She's becoming a product junkie. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. This was fun. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more feedback going in the comments and stuff as this posts. But if you guys want to find more information about MeMe, how can they find you and connect?
They can follow me on Instagram at Silk Me Kids. That is the brand page. My stylist page is at redhead_hairstylist. And then they also can check out the products at silkmekids.org. They can come stop by and see my beautiful salon in New Orleans East at 7701 Dwyer Road, Suite 106.
Awesome. And I'm just sitting here laughing, thinking, because my mom's watching on her phone and she probably wanted to comment and couldn't figure out how to comment in
How
the
to do it. So
comment
that's
section. So she came in the room.
Right.
Right.
Room. She didn't know what to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was fun, Mimi. It was good catching up with you.
No problem.
We're gonna connect on some other stuff, I'm sure. So let me know. We're gonna get this book into the kids' hands in the digital form and everything. So
yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you were a winner, go ahead and submit your information to. I'll get my mom's information to you.
Well, yeah, give me your mom's information.
Go ahead.
Once you send us the digital thing, we have an actual app. We have a Silk Me Kids app, and we can put it on there. So once they download our app, your book is on there too.
Girl. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just got full. Okay, perfect. Okay, you stay right there. Everybody else, good night. Thank y'all so much for being here. We'll see you for our last Curly Girl conversation. And y'all let me know too. I think I might continue this. Like maybe I'll make it a weekly or a bi-weekly or something like that. It's been fun. So y'all let me know if you're interested. Let me know in the comments. We'll have another guest on Friday. That'll be New Orleans Natural Hair Expo, Miss Monique. Yes, Monique.
I've done her show. She's amazing.
Yes, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, she's kind of follow her too. Make sure you follow MeMe, follow all of these ladies for some great content. But good night, ladies. We'll see you next Friday. We'll see you Friday.